All right, gang. Well, welcome to another episode of Dirt Bike Motorcycle Community. Love to have you here. Tonight we're going to go over a lot of little hardware to keep our bike in good shape. We typically play on our bikes pretty hard. I hope you do anyway. That's what makes it fun. But basically we're going to talk about armoring up our bikes. A lot of accessories that you can put on the bikes. A lot of ways you can keep the bikes protected. That way you don't have some of those minor damaging situations that could have been prevented by some little extra hardware. So let's kind of go over, we're going to work our way top down to the bottom. Let's kind of start with this little KTM 300 that we've got here. So the first thing we want to talk about is hand guards. Now there are a lot of options on hand guards. The hand guards that you see here, these are more of a considered a flag style. So they actually mount here at the pivot point for the brake lever and the clutch lever, and they have a little bit more flex on them. So if you're okay with that, that's definitely something that you can look at. And then over here, I have a really good example of something that's more of a wraparound style on our handlebars. So this is going to give you a little more added protection. There's pros and cons to both of these. Obviously, these aren't going to take as big of a hit. I have heard of some riders being afraid of coming down through the bar if they have an incident like that. Personally, I run with this style of handguard on my bike. I love them. Even if they take a tweak, I can take them off, I can rebend them and straighten them out in the vise, and they've got a lot of longevity in them. So something to think about, something to give you a little extra protection. Plus, if you're out bashing through the trees, that's definitely going to help you out with any impacts, rocks, whatnot. I've come down on top of these and it's definitely saved my levers, my bars, those type of things. Obviously, it depends on how hard of impact you're going to make, but these will definitely give you some added protection. There are some different styles of bars that you can go with that are more kind of an ISO bar, where they actually have rubber dampening in the bar assembly as well. I apologize, I don't have one of those examples with me today, but that gives you a little extra flex. It's something that's going to make some of the rideability a little bit easier, and they will incorporate with this entire setup as well. So something to kind of take a look at there. And then there's just kind of one of the packaging units. You can get them in all multi-colors, different goodies out there. So there's a lot of fun stuff you can put on them. Now, one thing I really want to stress is getting a solid bar protector. Good pad up here. Some of the factory bar protectors are a little light. Unfortunately, you can take a pretty good hit on one of these if you come down on your chest or whatnot. So getting a little extra protection on that handlebar pad will definitely help you out on that. Plus, not going to lie, it looks kind of cool too. So think about that. And then working our way down the chain, radiator guards. These are going to help for any kind of side impact. If you take a crush this way, this is actually going to help beef up that radiator and help it keep from getting crushed in those moments. Plus, it helps with any heavy debris, rocks, whatnot, instead of actually taking a direct hit on those radiator fins as well. So definitely look into those radiator guards. They come in all sorts of different colors. These just happen to be black. I do like the Bulletproof brand because they are made here in the US, so gotta love our country, so there you go on that. So anyway, so there's those. And then working a little further down the line, you've got a brake disc cover. Now, obviously I've got the bike spun around, but this would actually go over your brake rotor on the opposite side. That way, if you hit any shrubs or rocks or anything, it's gonna help protect that debris from doing any damage. Helps keep from any items getting wrapped up in your brake caliper as well. So definitely want to think about that. Like I said, these come in all sorts of different colors. I believe the KTM right behind me has a white and black one. So you got a lot of options out there. So can definitely accessorize on some of your goodies out there. This particular front brake guard is one for an 85cc, so it's a little more robust. It's all aluminum, so they can definitely take a good hit on that. And then we're going to kind of dance on to some of our other guards here. This particular guard here is actually towards the back of the bike, and this is going to be a brake caliper guard. So if you're taking any impacts on that, this cage will give you some added protection on that as well, help you out in that process. So a lot of colors, a lot of goodies out there. That one just happens to be blue. And then this here is going to be your shark fin. This actually goes around your rear brake rotor right here, and the way it actually installs is you take the inner bracket out, the brake caliper mounts up into this assembly, and then this is actually going to go up underneath here. very heavy duty. You can bash on rocks with that. That's not going to hurt it at all. Just keeps everything in good shape. So a lot of different options out there that you can get for the motorcycle. Well, I'm kind of right here, and I'm actually going to pop this one open just so it's a little easier to see. This is going to be an exhaust guard. This one happens to be a carbon fiber one, just attaches with hose clamps. Pretty easy setup on it. Basically, it just comes in and you attach it here. It does take a little shaping. I'm not sure if this one's a particular brand or model for this particular bike, but you can get the idea on how that wraps up. That way, if it takes any impacts, it's not going to damage your expensive silencer on there. So that'll definitely help out, or expansion chamber, I should say. So something to think about. They look cool. They definitely jazz up the bike as well and gives you some added protection on that. And then working our way down the line, we do have a few different options of skid plates. This particular skid plate here works on a link system, so it'll actually cover your rear linkage. So this one actually doesn't have a link system on it, but you can see how if it did have a link system on it, it would cover up that link system and give it some added protection. I do actually like the plastic or the poly style. They slide a little better than the aluminum ones. And unfortunately, the aluminum skid plates with the modern bikes now, they do flex a little bit in the frames. If you put an aluminum one on there, it'll actually gusset the frame, and then the bike's not going to actually flex and move the way it needs to. So think about getting a polyurethane style one. Those are definitely well worth getting, and keeps the bottom of the bike a little happier. This is a different brand of AXP. This one's a little thicker polyurethane. They do have the link setups too, where they actually cover that linkage as well. So there's some good items right there. And then I think that pretty much covers that. Some things we do want to dive into. So these are all things you can bolt on yourself if you're mechanically inclined, or if you want to have a local dealer, they can do all that. Just fit it all on the bike, and then you've pretty much got a bulletproof bike. So that definitely helps out on a lot of that too.